Hey, everyone. Welcome back to The Missing Link. I am your host, Miss Sabrina. I'm so excited to be here tonight. Hello to everyone that's in my chat. Hello to everyone that is logging in now. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button as you're coming in. And of course, if you don't hit it when you're coming in, make sure you hit it going out. And tonight I have the lovely, amazing Miss Dakiya Elle here with me.
Hey, Sabrina.
Thank you so much for joining me, Dakiya. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to get a chance to chat with you.
I know, finally. I feel like we're so far apart, but yet we're so close.
Exactly.
Okay, so everyone knows that watches The Missing Link. You guys know I don't waste any time. I just jump right into it. If you guys have any questions for Miss Dakiya, actually put them in the chat and hopefully we can get to them depending on how long we're on here. But definitely go ahead and say hi to Miss Dakiya in the chat and if you have any questions. All right, guys. So let's get started. So Miss Dakiya, the very first question I have for you is, who is Dakiya Elle?
Dakiya Elle is a woman that loves the arts as well as math and science. And I'm just a woman that loves anything creative. I love to be creative. I love to be of service to people and of our community. And yeah, I am a dance teacher and owner, founder, CEO of Dance Dimensions. We are in our 15th year. I also just started a nonprofit organization for our dance scholarships and art scholarships. And then I'm also a systems engineer in the aerospace industry. So I'm a little left brain, little right brain, trying to do it all, trying to do too much sometimes, but it's okay.
Honey, you wouldn't be human if you were. Nowadays, you have to have like 7 streams of income.
Exactly.
Like 50 million things. But that's amazing. But that is huge because you're like, I teach dance, but I work in space. And I like, wow, but that's cool. I don't know it.
Some people don't believe me. I'm like, yeah, I really do. I'm actually a rocket scientist ballerina. Go figure.
That is so cool. Like, that's so cool. And I feel like, honey, I usually try not to keep you guys on for no more than an hour and a half tops. But I feel like I can sit and ask you questions.
Oh, we can talk, girl. We can talk.
All day. We might have to wait till we get off, honey. Because well, anyway, I got some questions for you. So let's just get into it. So let everybody know, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I am a native Washingtonian. It's not too many of us left, like I grew up in the city. I grew up in Southeast DC, not the necessarily best part of town, but there are roses that grow from concrete all the time. And I'm just happen to be one of the many roses out of that garden. So I'm from DC. I lived here all the way up until I left for college. I went to college at the University of Pittsburgh. Hence why I'm a Steelers fan. And then I moved back here to the area. I'm in Maryland now. I haven't been living in the actual city since high school. But yeah, I'm a native Washingtonian and I love my city. I love giving back to my city. My city raised me. And I just appreciate the culture. Like, there's not too many places in the world where there's such a strong Black presence that is rooted in culture, rooted in success as well. PG County is one of the most affluential counties for African Americans in the country. So I'm proud to be a resident of gorgeous Prince George's County and a native Washingtonian at the same time.
Okay, so everyone that says that they're from DC, I always ask the questions. The first question, I've never asked this one, but so do you like and love mumbo sauce?
Yes. Well, I don't eat chicken. I'm a pescatarian, but I will put some mumbo sauce on my French fries.
And do you like go-go?
Yes, I do like go-go.
I always have to ask because I want to find that one.
But I used to sneak and go hang out, spend the weekend at one of my friend's house, and then we would go to the go-go in high school.
I have to ask because I'm waiting for one person that's from DC that says they don't like go-go, so I can be like, wow, like you're like one of.
It's the heartbeat of the city. It's hard to be a native Washingtonian and not love it. Now, I don't listen to it as much as I used to. In high school, we were always listening to it. I don't listen to it as much. I'm an R&B junkie now, but yeah, go-go is life. Go-go is the heartbeat of the city.
Yeah, facts. Absolutely. Okay, so moving forward, what did you want to be growing up? A little girl, 7, 8, 10 years old. What did you want to be?
I always knew that I wanted to own a dance studio. Like I remember being 10 years old and saying that I was going to open up a dance studio and it was going to start with the letter D because my name starts with the letter D. And I was like, well, I don't know what it's going to be called, but I'm going to open up a studio. But I also loved math and science growing up. I was a huge academic like fiend. Like I loved learning. I was that kid that if I got a B on something, I would put myself on punishment. Like I was I don't like to say nerd, but I was academically focused is the term I like to use. I loved math and science. But I also love dance. I started dancing when I was 3 years old. So I literally don't remember a time when I wasn't dancing. Like I remember walking, I remember dancing, and that's pretty much how life has been for the last 37 years now. I'm 40 now, so it's been 37 years of dancing. But yeah, I always wanted to dance, but then I do know that I wanted to incorporate my love of math and science as well. I didn't know what I wanted to do with that. I kind of went back and forth whether I wanted to be a doctor or a physical therapist. I liked physical therapy because I could use like dance therapy in that sense. But then I decided to go into engineering instead.
Yeah. Wow. So I have a lot. Okay, so someone said in the chat, Ravine says, being a nerd is okay.
Nothing wrong with being a nerd. Ain't nothing wrong with being a nerd.
Nothing is wrong with it because I'm pretty intelligent myself. I don't talk too much about it. I think you got me though. I think you did. But okay, wow. So I'm definitely going to ask questions about your dance because I'm so intrigued with that. But let me tell you, when I said that I was going to be talking with Dakiya, and everyone knows what the missing link is about. Yes. I mean, people were DMing me, ask her about NASA, ask her about this, ask her about that. So people are intrigued, and I have some questions for you about NASA because you do work for NASA. You work in space technology, and how amazing is that? I can honestly say I've never met anyone with your job profession there. And I think that this is so, like, I'm so intrigued. I'm so honored to be sitting here and discussing this with you. So let me just get into it. Okay. So first, how is it working for NASA? Like when you go into work, can you just kind of give me a day? Like you come in, you clock in, you do paperwork, you eat lunch, and you clock out. Like kind of give me an idea.
Well, since COVID, we are all remote. Well, for my position, I'm remote. So me clocking in is me walking down the steps. so that's me clocking in. So I'm doing everything remote. So I'm working on a program at NASA over in Goddard, which is not too far from here in Maryland. And it's a program called Landsat. It's the Landsat Mission Operations program. So we're doing satellites that basically just take pictures of the land. So we're taking pictures. The Landsat satellite is taking pictures of every little piece of the Earth at different points. The camera is going to travel around the Earth, and we're going to take different pictures, and then we're going to compare them. So we're going to measure different changes. We're going to see how the Earth is changing, and we're taking 1 million images, and then our research analysts will do all the analysis and figure out what is going on with the world. So we partner with USGS and NOAA and NASA to make sure that they're the ones that are doing the analysis of it. But NASA, we are the ones that are actually manning and flying and managing the spacecraft, the satellite that's actually taking those images. So no, there's no aliens. That
was one of my questions.
I saw a comment. It said are there aliens. So no, there are no aliens. So I've been in the aerospace industry on and off for the last, oh my gosh, I don't even know what year is this now, 22 years. But in that time frame, I also switched over to the defense industry. So I was working with a lot of defense contracts, working on some military contracts. So it wasn't anything aerospace. It was more so in the defense industry. But I've since got back into NASA maybe about 3 years ago, something like that.
Okay. So, golly. Okay, so if it's no aliens, what are these pictures and these videos that we see of spacecraft? And they're like, look, the space,
All the
and then it's like a
UFOs.
black and white picture, and they circle the aircraft flying through the air in these videos. Like, is that real? Like, do you guys really have a spacecraft down deep in the dungeon where you got to go down like 54 flights down the elevator, and it's like a bunch of people down there in white suits, like, and it's like floating on this thing, and it's like an aircraft that you've captured from like 1923. Like, y'all.
Oh, I love your imagination. I love it.
I'm a creative. So.
Right, I see. Well, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of different programs at NASA. And then also there are other different organizations that will do satellite imaging as well, not just NASA. But there are so many different things that we do, not just taking pictures. There's so many different missions that are doing this and doing that. While I cannot speak of seeing any white suits and aliens down at area, whatever number you want to call it, because there's so many different areas, I do not have any knowledge of that. And if I did, I'd have to kill you.
And I believe you.
I'm kidding. But government clearances are real.
No, I believe you. That is so funny. Okay. So, before I jump further, so how did you start working for NASA? Like, how did you get into it? You saw it on Craigslist one day. You like, I'm gonna apply. Like,
well, actually, I started in college. So I went to University of Pittsburgh, and then I did a lot of internships in college. So I interned with a company called ELLE-THE when I was in college during the summer. And then when I graduated, they hired me full time. And we were supporting different contracts at NASA and other things like that. And so then I just kind of progressed my career and started working on other programs, went down into Virginia, switched over to Lockheed Martin for a while. And then we were still doing aerospace. It wasn't with NASA at that point, but we were doing other aerospace programs. From there, I transitioned to Northrop Grumman and got more into the defense industry, where I was working with more military contracts and things like that. And since then, after that, I went back to NASA, supporting contracts over at Goddard. So my internships were key. Like, I interned in college, and before I even graduated, they were like, here's your offer. Are you coming down? And actually, I had an offer when I graduated from college to either do engineering with Raytheon or join a dance company in Ohio. And it was like, am I going to do dance? Am I going to do engineering? But then it was like, all right, well, they sent me what the salary was going to be. So I was like, I'm going to do the engineering. I joined a dance company down here when I graduated. So I could still do the engineering and do the dance. But I got injured dancing down here. And during that injury time, I decided to teach more often and fell in love with teaching. And I never went back to the performance companies after that. Like, I would dance here or there, but I fell in love with teaching. And that just became my focus.
Wow. Okay. I don't want to jump too ahead because I got a lot of things about the dance. Okay. So one of the questions were, do you assist in designing the spacesuits?
No, I don't. That's a whole different science of what needs to be done for those spacesuits. I mean, you got to think about, you got to use the bathroom. You're going up in zero gravity. We're sending women up. We have different needs. If we're going up for a mission that's going to be 6 months to a year, like, there's a lot of different things that have to be in those designs for those spacesuits. I am not a part of it, but that's a whole different ministry. I believe that mission is out of Texas that is doing that part.
Right. Have you ever assisted with sending anyone to the moon? Like, I know you said like you take the pictures and everything, but like, I just need to know, like, what have you assisted with? Like, what other departments have you worked with? Because sending someone to the moon is huge. And I know it's so many different, probably, parts and moving parts within the actual NASA. I mean, it's just, okay, I'm gonna let you talk.
So all of the programs that I've worked on have been primarily image-based. So I'm using the programs that are taking all the images, and that image is different data and telemetry that is coming down from the satellite that we're going to use to do our analysis. I've also worked on a weather program. So we were using a weather satellite to help predict the weather, and NOAA was using that to do a lot of their analysis. So most of the programs that I've worked on are either weather or imaging, or sometimes a little bit of both. Like, it'll be a hybrid. I worked on I can't even tell you the name, but I worked on a program that was doing a little bit of a hybrid of the imaging and the weather portion. But yeah, so I have not been a part of a mission to send anyone to space. Oh, out of my building though, there was a program that was sending a robot to Mars, but not a human to space. Yeah.
What was the freakiest thing you've ever seen that was a picture was taken of?
So we just showed a picture in one of our program management reviews of there in Hawaii. There was a volcano that had erupted not too long ago, but now there's like volcanic lakes that you can actually see from the images from space. So that was really cool, and you can see the different little lava lakes that are forming inside the volcano.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's no aliens and no spaceship.
I have never seen an alien.
I just need you to confirm.
I've never seen an alien. I've never seen a spaceship. But just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But I'm just kidding. No, I don't have any knowledge that is above my pay grade and clearance level.
I don't know why I want to believe so bad that there is.
You ain't jacking up my clearance, girl. You are not.
I'm like,
polygraphs come regularly. I'm not.
And I don't want you to, and I don't want you to. But it's like, who do you like? How often do you really get to sit down and talk to someone that works at NASA? No, but that's
a lot of, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of Black women here. In my building, in my office, there are a couple of women, but I'm the only Black woman that is in the engineering. We have some other Black women that are in other departments, but for my office in the Seabrook, Maryland office, I'm the only Black woman. There are other programs that do have. Oh, nope, there is one more. Sorry, I forgot about her. But there are some other women in other programs, but it's very difficult, especially when I was first coming up. It was always frustrating to come in and sit in a meeting room as the only Black woman there, and sometimes the only woman, period. And they're all, no shade, but they're all old white men, and they would call me kid, or they would call me, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'm trying to literally have a seat at this table where there's no one that looks like me. So it was always important to me to go to different career days and to go to different and talk to my students. And even when I'm teaching my dance class, I'm using physics when I'm teaching my kids. So we're talking about, your center of gravity when we're doing pirouettes. I'm talking to them about for every action, there's a reaction, and how they need an equal but opposite force when they're going to do a leap, that they have to really push off the floor with their plie so that they can get higher in the air, because they have to resist that gravity. So I'm always going to make sure that my students are not only going to get that artistic dance training, but we're going to relate it to some math and science. We're going to talk about counting those bars of music that we're dancing to. Right. We're going to talk about, the rotational force that you need to complete a triple pirouette. We're going to talk about all these different things so that my kids are just as well-rounded as I am.
I know your kids be like, I'm like, man, we know you work at NASA. Like, why you gotta always talk about gravity?
and it clicks for them, especially when I start getting right. And I can say, all right, kids, for every action there is and they will finish off the law for me. So yeah, and it helps because they just want to jump, but let's try to analyze, let's try to break it down to see how can we do it more efficiently. And when we go to different competitions and go to performances, our comments and our judges' critiques are always like, oh, your kids are so strong, they're so athletic, they're getting so much height in their jumps. I'm like, yes, because we're using our equal but opposite force to get more height in our jumps. So yes.
Right. That is so cool. Okay, the chat is going crazy. I just want to say they love, 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 love you.
Oh, I love you guys too. I really appreciate the support. It's been amazing. So thank you guys for rocking with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Deja Robinson asks, do you know Dr. Raven, the science Maven?
No, I don't, but it seems like I need to.
Right, because I'm like, I don't. I hope she knows.
I do not, but I will definitely try to figure that out.
Right, exactly. Okay, all right. Wow. Okay. Because I don't want to talk to, I'm really intrigued with the NASA. We're not going to spend too much time. We're literally going to move on. But thank you so much for spending some time and talking to me about that. So
I appreciate you having me.
Okay. All right. So you did say now, because throughout this whole conversation so far, like you've mentioned dance. Dance. You clearly love dance.
Dance has been my passion since before I knew what passion was. Like I said, I started dancing when I was 3 years old and cannot remember a time when I was not dancing. Even if I'm going to the fridge, I'm going to do a little bop ma, I'm going to do a little lunge as I'm getting to the fridge and everything. So dance has always been my outlet. Like I was not really a big speaker when I was younger. I was always kind of a bit of a loner. And I had a hard time really articulating what was in my brain because my brain moved so quickly that I couldn't really get it out as quick as it was coming. But whenever I would dance, it was like all of the emotions that I couldn't get out was always going to easily just surface and easily just kind of come out. And, if I found a song that related to what I was going through, dance got me through. Dance was able to let me get those emotions out. Dance helped me to meet new people and find people that had common interests as I did. I met women and men that had that same passion and love of dance and music and arts as I did. Dance allowed me to fall in love with so many different genres of music. Like if I put my phone on shuffle, you might hear some Tchaikovsky, you might hear some Whitney Houston, you might hear some Billy Joel, you might hear some, Queen. You never know, because I've fallen in love with so many different forms of music because I danced to them in different dance classes and different genres. And then it also helped me to see the world. I remember in high school, I got selected to go to LA to perform a production of The Wiz. So that was my first time on a plane. Dance got me on the plane for the very first time to get me out of Southeast DC to go to LA to perform The Wiz at 16 or 17 years old. So yeah, and I remember going up to New York on the weekends and taking classes in New York when I was in high school. I did a residency with Dance Theater of Harlem, so I was able to get out of DC through dance, and that's why now when I have my studio, I'm so passionate on making sure that I give kids that are coming out of DC and these other areas in the I hate to say DMV, but you know what I mean. Right. In this area to have that same opportunity as I did. I didn't come from a family with money, but I came from a family of people that saw that I had a lot of talent and passion and intelligence, and my entire family just like surrounded me to make sure that I would be able to be the one to make it out. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have a lot of money, but my uncles would be driving me to the other side of the city. And we're in Southeast. They drive me to Northwest to ballet class, or my aunt is picking me up from school and after school program, or my mom is working 2 jobs so that she can afford the extra dance classes that I wanted. So they made sure that even though I was from an area that was tough, that they were going to make sure that I got out. And now I make sure that, all right, y'all help me get out. I'm bringing all y'all with me. So now I hired everybody at my studio. Like half the staff is my family members at the studio. And in addition to having my family work for me, I make sure that my students are getting scholarships as well. So even out of my own pocket from the very beginning, we've been open for 15 years. And every single year, at least 20% of my kids are on scholarships out of my own pocket, sometimes more than that. Wow. And then now I just started a nonprofit so that we're able to even expand that even more, so that we're able to get some grants and able to get some tax deductible donations so that people can donate more, so I can help more kids. Like, dance is what got me to see the world, and I want to make sure that other little Black girls and little Black boys and people from Anacostia just like me can see the world and experience the discipline, the strength, the time commitment, the grace, the teamwork, all of that stuff. All of these skills that I learned through dance have transcended, off the stage into my personal life. And I always teach my students, you have to be graceful not only on stage but off stage as well. And right. Thankfully, that's what you guys got to see. That grace and that strength and that discipline is what ballet taught me.
Mm. So what different types of genre of dance did you do? And what was your favorite one?
So I trained at a lot of different studios in the area, but primarily in ballet, modern, and jazz. So those were my favorites, ballet, modern, and jazz. I loved the classicalness of ballet, and everything was very precise. I didn't have quite the body for ballet. I was told that I had the body of a woman, not of a dancer. But thankfully, those visions and those aesthetics are changing now. But back when I was coming up, you had to be, and I was small, don't get me wrong. I'm 5'3" on a good day. And at that time, I wasn't even 100 pounds, but I had the body of a woman, not of a dancer. But so then that trying to transition to me to getting into contemporary and modern and jazz.
Right.
So that's what I primarily teach. But at my studio, we offer everything. We have the tap, we have hip hop, we have acro, in addition to the ballet, modern, and jazz and contemporary as well. So, and I always want to make sure that my students are versatile and well trained in all styles. I don't want them to be a one trick pony. I'm not just having ballerinas, or I'm not just having tappers. I'm going to have one student that can do everything. Because when they're trying to get jobs in the dance industry nowadays, they're not going to hire a tap dancer for this section, a ballet dancer for this section, and a jazz dancer for this. One dancer that they can kind of mix and match and do everything. So that's why at my studio, I have teachers and staff in place that are going to be well versed in all these styles and getting these kids strong technique and strong versatile training so that they're going to be hireable and bookable and also good people. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hire somebody that they don't want to work with. So my kids are going to learn that work ethic and that discipline as well as that technique. So they're not only going to get one job, they're going to get the next job and the next job after that. Right. If that's what they decide. Because I have some students that don't want to pursue careers in dance, but that dance training, like I said, will still be with them. These kids are managing their academics and other extracurricular activities and organizations that they're in, but they're still at the studio 10, 15 hours a week. And that time commitment and that organization that they are learning will transcend dance.
So I want you to talk about it towards the end of the interview, and I want you to let everyone know. But I see in the chat that everyone is asking, how can they donate to your studio?
Oh, I appreciate that.
So while we're discussing it, just go ahead and let them know where they can donate to your studio.
Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, I have links in my bio to both my studio and my foundation. My studio is Dance Dimensions MD. That's Dance Dimensions MD on our website, www.dancedimensionsmd, as well as Instagram and Facebook. And then Progressions Dance Alliance is a new foundation that I've started that we're able to do a nonprofit organization strictly focused on getting scholarships, and all the money that's coming in is going straight back to these kids, and not just for them to come to my studio, but other studios in the area, other conventions, other master classes, going on trips, going up to the International Association of Blacks in Dance that we go up to, taking them to New York, bringing in master classes. I have a very good relationship with members of ELLE-THE Dance, American Contemporary Dance Theater, so I'm bringing them in straight down to Forestville, Maryland. I'm bringing ELLE dancers into Forestville, Maryland to work with the kids. I have connects with Lion King on Broadway that are coming in and doing these master classes and making sure that these kids in DC, Maryland, and Virginia are getting that same quality education that helped me so much. So if you go to progressionsdancealliance.com or on Instagram at Progressions Dance Alliance, that's going to be the primary vessel that we're using to accept donations. And again, this scholarship money is going straight to kids ages 3 to 18. And hopefully we can continue this going so that they can, if they're pursuing careers in dance or going to college. I have a lot of kids that are now in college. One of my students just graduated from the University of Arts today with her degree in dance, and she's working for me at the studio now. So I'm loving having that full circle moment where my students that have come up through my program are now working at the studio, and they're teaching kids that in the same exact dance studio that they were trained in. I've hired at least 7 of more than that, probably 10 of my former students now that are now teaching at the studio. Yeah. So it says dance is life. I know that, it's just, it's just a fun activity. It's a hobby, and it is. It's a great way for these kids to stay active. It's a great way for them to stay busy. In this day and age of putting the phones down, it's a great way for them to stimulate their brain instead of just being on their phones all the time and remembering, because these kids, they might be remembering 12 different pieces of choreography to perform in one show. So that's a lot of choreography that their brains are stimulating, and not just being on Instagram or not just being on TikTok. They learn those TikTok dances, but can you do 32 fouette turns? Honey. So this is more than just dance for these kids. This is keeping them busy. This is giving them expression. This is getting them, to have that camaraderie. Because a lot of kids don't play sports. They might not play sports, but they have a team that they have to dance with. They have to be united with, and they learn, how to get along with your teammates, how to get along with your coworkers, how to, if you have issues, how can you communicate those issues while still being effective as a team member. And these bonds that they form last a lifetime. Like even for me, one of the teachers that teaches at my studio, she and I danced together when we were 14 years old. So come through life together, forming these bonds. So it's more than dance for me and for these kids.
So tell me again the age range of the children that you'll accept. And also, do you accept boys and girls?
Yes. So we have them we start them at 3 years old to 18, and we have boys and girls. We have some amazing young men at my studio. A lot of them do all styles. They're doing the ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, modern, all of that stuff. We have some that are just doing hip hop. I got the cutest little 4-year-old boy that you can't tell him he ain't Chris Brown. Like, he only does hip hop, but he's doing other things. We have an amazing 18-year-old boy that has been with me for the last, I don't even know, 10, 11 years. He's getting ready to graduate and go off to school for dance as well. I guess we have, how many boys are we up to now? 9 boys in the program. Wow. And they range from 4 to 18.
Right.
But the studio itself is large. So we have about 225 kids total. And we're right over in Forestville. And that number is down. Like, we're still replenishing our numbers from COVID. It was a little higher before, but kids are still kind of coming back in. We had to be hybrid for a while. But the more that we are able to get money in and be able to give scholarships, the more kids we can touch. And again, these kids are learning all styles, ballet. And here's the thing. They're not just doing like a little something. These kids are learning technique. They are training. Our staff is straight from Alvin Ailey. Our tap teacher just danced with Savion Glover and is currently getting certifications and an additional degree at Harvard right now. We have dancers from Deeply Rooted and Philadelphia and ELLE-THE. Like, our dance teachers are really giving these kids some quality education. It's not just what you see on TikTok. These kids are training, working hard, and right now they're in class right now at 8:32 p.m. training right now as we speak.
So with the competitions that you have, like, okay, so tell me, so if I want my daughter to join your studio and she's like, Mommy, I want to one day compete. Can you tell everyone a little bit about how that process goes with once you become a student at your studio, and how, the training and how many months they have to do it for or whatever before they actually start doing competitions, etc.?
Yeah, so the competitions are a whole nother beast. Like, it is a whole nother world. But what we do is we try to get kids, and our studio is open to anyone. You do not have to audition to join Dance Dimensions. The studio is open to anyone, any level, any age. You can be 15 years old, never danced before. We're going to bring you into a class and teach you the basics. So anybody can join Dance Dimensions. But then when we have our competition team, then you have to audition. That's a different level of training. And those kids are training. Even I think our youngest one on the competition team is 5 years old, but she actually kind of snuck in and started taking dance when she was 2 instead of 3 because her mom teaches at the studio. So she's coming out the room dancing. But the youngest on the competition team is 5 and the oldest is 18. And those kids, even the young ones, are training. I think our 5-year-old is training at least 7 hours a week. And then the older kids can be 10, 15 hours a week. And so the competition team has to be, and it's broken into different age ranges. We have a 5 to 7, a 7 to 9, a 10 to 12, a 13 to 15, and then 15 and up. And different styles. So our repertory company are the ones that are doing more so the classical. They're doing the ballet and the contemporary and the jazz and the modern. Then we have a team that's specifically just for hip hop, and we have a team that's specifically just for tap. But that repertory team has to kind of do a little bit of everything. And that's the team that kind of goes out into the community. If we get asked to do performances in the community, those are the teams that I bring. Like, we got asked to perform at the White House for President Obama's Halloween party right before he left office. So that team was the one that I brought to them. They did a whole Thriller thing for President Obama.
So amazing.
Yes, I'm going to repost the pictures so that y'all can see them. And we'll do different performances, like we did the Cherry Blossom Parade. We did the International Children's Festival at the Wolf Trap. We did Harlem Week in New York. We did the International Association of Blacks in Dance in Philly for that one. So those kids are kind of like the ambassadors of Dance Dimensions. They're the ones that are going to go out into the community as well as do the competitions because they've been training for several years. Now, our other students that are not on the competition team, they're still going to perform as well, but they're going to perform in our recitals. They're going to be doing 2, sometimes 3 recitals a year that is open to everyone. But that competition team, they're the ones that are training a little harder. You know, they're training a little tougher. Their skills are a little bit higher, and their commitment, you know, is a little higher as for the kids and for the parents. I mean, dance moms is a real thing because those moms, we had a few moms, they've been literally rhinestoning costumes for the last 2 weeks, you know, on these different costumes for the kids before they're getting ready to go to nationals in Florida. So dance moms have to commit their time. They have to commit their money because those competitions are expensive. You know, we're doing fundraisers. The parents are selling like hot dog lunches and popcorn and honey baked hams and, you know, trying to make sure that the kids can get to these competitions because it adds up. It really adds up. But I always say that it's an investment in not only the kids, but just their versatility and their being well-rounded, multifaceted human beings. You know, they might not ever perform on, you know, the Kennedy Center stage or Carnegie Hall, but they would have learned how to walk into a room and command presence. They would have learned how to manage their time and their responsibilities and make sure that everything is going to be executed efficiently and successfully. Because we don't just like when I was a kid, I didn't do B's. I always tell them I don't accept B work from you in the studio or at home. They have to give me their report cards too. Like I'm monitoring everything. You know, I might monitor their social media sometimes. Like, what you doing? Come on, girl, we don't do that. So yeah, it's about them, like I said, being graceful on stage as well as off stage.
I think I saw, I want to say in the chat, probably about 15 minutes ago, I saw someone say, how do you do it all? How do you manage it all? Do you get frustrated at times? Do you do you take mental breaks? Do you say, you know what, y'all take over today. I'm gonna take the day off. Like, wow.
So if I'm gonna be very honest, you know, this is a judgment. Coffee and wine. Coffee and wine.
Right.
Get me through. And then I try to travel. Like for me, going to the islands is my replenishing. I always say I can't pour from an empty cup. And me going to the beach is me refilling my cup with a little ocean water and some sand. Like that's how I get to be able to get back to myself and have that me time. So it's a lot, but I have an amazing staff. Like half the staff, like I said, my family. But even still, we developed a strong team. We call them the dream team because most of my staff, I have a staff of about 21 people now, have been together for years at this point. Some of them since we opened up in the very beginning. And they jump in like champs when I need them, especially, you know, this process that just went through. I had to make sure that I leaned on them to help the studio still go on while I was being busy. And my assistant helps me out. She's my little right brain, my left brain, whatever brain I need her to be at that point. She helps me out. But yeah, girl, coffee and wine, my uppers and my downers.
Because I mean, it really takes a village. And because everyone sees the effort and the work you put into it, I'm sure it's by ease that they step up to the plate for you. And that's so amazing.
Yeah, we've been at this, like I said, for 15 years now. So that has gotten us to have like a lot of policies and procedures, and even that engineering brain in me has made it a little easier for me to create all of these processes and procedures. And all right, this is what we do. All right, it's March. Here we go. All right, May is getting ready to be recital season. Let's do this. Oh, picture day is coming up. What's going on for here? So we kind of know what to do, how to do it, what needs to be done, who can do this, and finding who on my team has different strong suits for this. Like I have, one teacher that's great at doing like the Halloween party or the Christmas party or the decorations and events. I have one teacher that's great at the costumes. I have, my brother that's really great at like the pictures and the social media. So trying to figure out, you know, who is strong at what? All right, now I'm going to empower you. That's you. That's your department. Parent email. Oh, that's your that's your department. You know, trying to figure out who can really be best suited to handle this, so it's not all on me. Now, in the beginning, it was all on me. You know, I was costume. I built the website. I was doing the payroll. You know, doing the graphics, doing editing. I still edit all the music. Well, my brother helps with some of the music editing now too. But yeah, trying to make sure, because I couldn't afford to hire anybody. So I'm like, all right, myself. I'm going to teach myself how to, to edit music, or, you know, like I already had web development skills from college, but just using that to make another website. Or, all right, I can't afford a payroll system. Let me pull out some Excel spreadsheets and do some formulas and some macros to make my own payroll system. So just trying to figure out how to do things smarter, not harder.
Right. And now you're talking about being an entrepreneur. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And it's like, now you're speaking my language. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, all they see is the end, the success. They see the fabulousness. Is that a word? But, you know, and I'm just like, y'all don't understand. Like, that's where I started too. Like, my photo shoots and the pictures that I took, like, people don't realize it. A lot of people don't know. I talk about it all the time, but my 9-year-old daughter is my photographer.
I've seen you do that. I've seen that. You're taking her pictures. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I couldn't afford to have a photographer every time I needed to pay. So sometimes, and listen, guys, listen to the success that she's talked about this whole time, that where her studio is now, that she's able to hire, and she has all these different programs, and now she even has scholarships, you know, that she donates to. But listen to what she just said. She did the paperwork. She did the website. She was her only employee, like, you know, and a lot of people need to understand, like, you got to where you got to because you didn't give up.
Right.
You know, and you figured it out.
I didn't pay myself at all for the first 4 years. And then my family, my mom and my aunt worked like the office, answering phones and doing registrations for free for like 3 years, you know? So I was blessed to have people that were willing to support my dream free, you know what I mean? In the beginning, it was hard because not only was I starting the studio, but I still had to work. So I would be going to work during the day. At that point, I was at Raytheon, I believe, or transitioning from Raytheon to Lockheed Martin at that time. So I'm still working during the day. Then I had to go teach my dance classes till like 9:30 at night. And then I would come home at 9:30 at night and be building the website until like 3 a.m. Or I'm trying to doing our handbook, writing the handbook out, or trying to figure out what is my mission? What is my mission statement? Or, you know, how are we going to do this and how are we going to do that? It's like for years. And I opened the studio when I was 25. So I don't want to say I lost my 20s, but my 20s were focused on my career. Like my 20s were focused on me getting my engineering career stable and proving that I'm not just a little Black girl that's, you know, just here trying to do something. Like, no, I'm a contributing member of the team, as well as still maintaining my teaching schedule and starting the business. And I will say it was a lot of mistakes. I made so many mistakes.
Right. But that's how you're able to be at exactly where you are now. People don't understand. You have to make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've spent a lot of unnecessary money. You know, people don't understand. You have to. It's trial by error where you learn.
Exactly.
And you become better and better and better. Like, you have to go through those.
I would say that I would recommend people to take at least, you know, some kind of business class. I wish I would have taken a business class in the beginning so that I would have not have made so many expensive mistakes. But at the same time, you know, that trial by error actually like taught me a little bit faster. It taught me a little bit more of like, girl, this is your own money. This ain't no monopoly money you losing. You better act right. You know,
before I hit sin, let me think about it.
Let me think about that. You know, let me read this one more time. But yeah, so making sure that all of these different things I didn't even know needed to be done had to get done, and I was going to be the only one to have to do them. So that entrepreneur life is tough. It's great. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, now open a business." Everybody's talking about, start an LLC. Y'all don't it's a lot of work, and I'm all for business ownership. I am so happy and proud of the business that I've created. But you just got to remember that what you see today ain't how it started 15 years ago. Like I started, you know, in where was I when I opened that? In a little townhouse in Temple Hills, Maryland. And just really, really grinding nonstop. And like I said, I still had my full-time job. I'm still working my full-time job. You know, to really make sure that I could not. I never wanted the studio to be like. I hate to say it, not my breadwinner, because I wanted to make sure that that money that was coming in was still going back out. You know what I mean? That's why I've always made sure I kept my engineering job so that I could live off of my engineering career, and the money that's coming in out of the studio will go back into the scholarships.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about your scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does the scholarship program work? Just explain that a little bit to everyone that's going to watch this and that's watching
right
now.
So currently for my studio, it's been need-based. So a parent will say, look, you know, especially with COVID, even though we were making a lot less money in COVID, I ended up giving out more scholarships, even though I was, you know, not making any money. But yeah, so it's typically need-based. Like, you know, we have parents that are single parents, or we have parents that have multiple kids, or we have parents that are teachers themselves. And we know how, you know, unfortunate the pay is for teachers. So a lot of my scholarships are need-based. And then I do some merit-based as well. Like I can see this kid is working hard. You know, I know that the parent is, you know, might not be as financially able, but not as need-based as some of the other parents. But this student really has a lot of potential. So let me give that child a scholarship as well. Because I know that when that child is a very like strong student, those competition fees go up, those other expectations go up. So all of that stuff is a merit-based. I don't do too many merit-based. I primarily focus on the need-based because that's what got me out, and I want to make sure that is still going to be that circle of life, be pouring back into the community that raised me. So yeah, those scholarships, and we typically do them once a year, and that lasts them for the whole year. We'll do that in like September, and then it'll last them the whole school year. But then sometimes it might be like March might come around, and a parent might say, you know what, Ms. Dakiya, you know, I got laid off, and you know I'm struggling. I know I'm a couple months behind, but I really want Susie Q to keep dancing, whatever. And I'm like, I got you. What can you do? You know, we're going to work with you. So we always make sure that we try to make sure that we can work with the families as much as possible. Now, I can't lie, I got burned a lot of times, you know, but at the same time, my heart wants to do all that I can for these kids and for the parents, because I know that the parents really want those kids to have that opportunity. Not just for dance, but just like I said, dance is more than just the 8 count. It's
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how can one submit their application and apply for your studio for their child?
Yeah. So right now like I said, we're open to any student to join Dance Dimensions, and our scholarships for Dance Dimensions are just for Dance Dimensions students. But the Progressions Dance Alliance is that new foundation that I have started to be able to use. They can use the scholarship money at other studios, my studio, different conventions and things like that. So parents can go. So we're still in the fundraising phase right now. Hopefully we can get some more money in and grants in so that we can be able to distribute more scholarships for the 2022-2023 school year. And then you can just apply. The application process for Progressions will be on the website. And then for Dance Dimensions, that scholarship process will start in September once students register. For Dance Dimensions, we start taking new students in June for our summer program. We're getting ready to have our end of the year recital on June 18th at Oxon Hill High School. And there's virtual too. So I'll have all that up there. You can even watch it from Wisconsin. You can log in and watch the recital of the kids if you wanted to. But then so we take the kids in summer program starting the day intensive starts June 27th, I believe. And then our evening classes start July 11th. Mm-hmm. And then come September is our full school year. And we're going September to June. And the kids do 2 recitals. All of our students do 2 recitals. Some of them do 3 recitals. And then our companies do the additional competitions and community performances as well. So Dimensions is open, y'all. Like we're open. We're in Forestville, Maryland. Y'all can come over, sign your kids up. 16, you can pick the classes. You can say, oh, she only wants to do hip hop. Come on and do hip hop. Oh, he only wants to do tap. Come on, he could be the next Savion Glover in tap, you know. Right. Or you can say, we're going to do all that you have to offer, and you can sign up for everything.
What is all that you have to offer? What are all the different types of genres that you teach at your studio?
So we have ballet. Once they get to a certain level, they can add point. Point is when the point shoes are the wood shoes, when the ballerinas are on their toes. You have to be very strong and very trained for that. So that happens when they're in a level 5 class. Wow. So we take ballet and point. Modern, the form of modern that we use is called Horton. That's the same form of modern that you'll see the Alvin Ailey dancers do, or Philadelphia. There's so many different styles of modern. There's Dunham, there's Lamone, there's Graham, there's Horton. We primarily focus on Horton and a little bit of Dunham as well. Catherine Dunham is the founder of the Dunham technique, and Lester Horton is the founder of the Horton technique. And then, so we have ballet, point, modern, contemporary, jazz, hip hop, tap, acro. I think that's it. I think we do a little bit of everything. These kids gonna be.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot, and that sounds like if your kid want to dance,
right. So we used to have adult classes too. I saw that in the chat. We did have adult classes. After COVID, we kind of stopped with adult classes because there weren't as many parents or adults that wanted to get into class. And actually, sometimes the adults, life picks up and work picks up, so they weren't being quite as consistent. But hopefully, we can get some adult classes back, and maybe we can even get them to be virtual. So if y'all in Philly, if y'all in Cali, you can Zoom in with us. And take some classes with us. I would love to have you. And even like before COVID, our adults would get on stage at the recital just like everybody else, just like the kids. They'd be in their costume and they would dance. They had their hair in a bun and everything. So the adult
sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, we gotta get the adult classes back. So hopefully for the next school year, maybe in September, I can get some adult classes back on, and we can add that, and hopefully we can get some adults back on stage.
Yes. Well, this, I'm gonna just say this. This video will be on my page, my channel. So anybody that rewatches this, so if you're watching this now and it's 6 months later, she's taking adults, guys. Go sign up.
Yes,
if you're not watching now, go sign up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, dance is for everyone. You don't have to be, someone that has danced their whole life. If your child is, like I said, 12 years old, never danced, it's never too late. It's never too late for a 45-year-old to say, you know what? Actually, before COVID, we had a 55-year-old lady in our dance classes. So and my mom she ain't gonna go let me tell you her age, but she danced as well in the dance classes. She's actually dancing for the Washington Wisdom. So the Washington Wizards basketball team has a senior citizens dance team that performs at some of the games. Her and my uncle on the Washington Wisdom. So dance is all in the family.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So if you're at a Wizards game and you see the little silver sparkly sweatsuits of the senior citizens dance, the Washington Wisdom, that's my mama and my uncle out there. The little short ones that look like me.
That is so cool. Wow, that's awesome, man. Okay, wow. So we're wrapping it up. So I want to ask you, what do you love the most about being a dance teacher, owning a studio? I mean, you've been dancing since what? Since you were 3?
Yeah, so I've been dancing for 37 years. But I will say, so there's so many things that I could say that I love the most. But I would say the thing I love most about dancing is the expression, the freedom, I can interpret music and emotions visually. So when you think about music not being visual, or emotions or energy, or different experiences not being visual, dance allows those different things to be tangible, and you can see music, you can see an emotion, you can see this idea being interpreted. So the expression for me is what I love most about dancing. But when it comes to teaching, what I love most about it is seeing the kids like light up when they get a skill that they hadn't been able to do before. Like they finally land a triple pirouette. And I'm like, yes, or when they're getting ready to, they're so nervous, getting ready to do their very first solo or something like that. And they're all jittery and then they get on stage and kill it. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't have kids, but they are my kids, and watching them grow. And when I see a kid that, like the young lady I was talking about earlier, she started with me when she was 10 years old. Today is her graduation from the University of Arts with a degree in dance, and she's coming back next week to start teaching at the studio. You know what I mean? That full circle moment is just amazing to know that I have touched kids to the point where they want to come back and continue it. I have a student that has babies, and they brought their babies to the studio. So now my students' kids are at the studio. I'm like, my granddad's babies, I guess. Right. So it's that whole family-oriented like vibe, and seeing the kids grow and seeing them not only master skills but master life is amazing. Because when you have one kid or two kids, when you have kids of your own, you get to see them grow. But I've been blessed to see thousands of kids grow.
Yeah. That's so amazing. My heart is melting. Okay, so what do you like least about dancing?
Oh, so from the dancing perspective, being sore the next day. But from the teaching and the ownership standpoint, I would say sometimes the dance moms are not the easiest to understand what we're going through in order to make this happen. Sometimes the dance moms can only see the need of their child and not see the need of the entire class, or see all the work that we're doing, how we're making costumes till 4 a.m. before a performance, or the way my family is stuffing bags to make sure everything is organized, how I got my mom going through accounts right now literally as we speak to make sure that the numbers are right, and how all the different things that they don't see kind of can go a little bit unnoticed and unappreciated. And I do a lot of things just for the love of dance. We don't charge them a lot. We don't charge them for all of our time. We work for free for most of the time, just like teachers do, but at the same time, it's like, I'm doing this because I love your kids and I love dance, and sometimes that can go a little bit unnoticed.
So what projects are you working on right now that you would like to share if you're able to?
Yeah, so with dance, we're working on our end of the year recital on June 18th. We're having a matinee and an evening show, and both of them will be local and streamed online. So I'll be putting out information about that. We have our summer program registration getting open right now. Actually, you can register for our summer program, whether it's a daytime program like a camp, but we call it a dance intensive. It's not technically a camp, but they're dancing all day. They're doing arts and crafts. They're doing fun time. They're creating their own choreography. They're doing a lot of different things in that day program, as well as we have evening classes during the summer. And then we have Progressions Dance Alliance, which is the new foundation to fund this experience for these kids. And like I said, that's not just for my studio, that's for the area as a whole. I'm good friends with a lot of other studio owners in the area, and I'm so proud that there's so many Black women owning dance studios in this area, and we get along. You know what I mean? And we talk and we're like, all right, sis, can you come over? I need a sub. Or all right, sis, like, can we do this joint workshop? Or we go to a competition, and instead of our teams competing against each other, we're cheering each other on in the audience. You know what I mean? So we call each other cousins, So it's just an amazing thing. So this Progressions Dance Alliance is not only helping students to come to my studio, but some of the other studios and other master classes and other conventions and workshops. So Progressions Dance Alliance, I can't say it enough. It's brand new, but we're still excited about using this as a vessel to bring more kids to dance, and through dance, see the world and see the people, the young women and the young men that they can be from this discipline and from this just training that's training them not just to be dancers, but to be decent humans that can manage life in whatever aspect they decide to go in the future.
Yeah. Wow. So let everyone know how they can find you, and also mention again how they can donate to your
Mhm.
studio as well.
So you can find me, Miss Dakiya. That's what my students call me. Everybody, Miss Dakiya, Miss Dakiya. So Miss Dakiya is my name, or Dakiya Elle, Miss Dakiya on Instagram and Facebook. My studio is Dance Dimensions MD. That's dancedimensionsmd.com and on Instagram and Facebook. And then Progressions Dance Alliance, whole word spelled out.com and on Instagram. So Miss Dakiya, Dance Dimensions MD, Progressions Dance Alliance. Those are how you can reach me. Or if you just happen to, look up, you might see my satellite taking a picture of you. I'm kidding.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Beat me up, Sky.
Right.
Well, and let them know how they can donate to your studio.
Yes, you can donate directly to Dance Dimensions at www.dancedimensionsmd.com. There's a link that says donate there /donate, or you can donate to the foundation as a whole at progressionsdancealliance.com.
So just to let everybody know, the links that she did mention, they will be down. They already are. So just go down there now. They're down in the description box below under this video. Follow her on social media. Definitely go to her websites, donate, because Dakiya is doing some amazing things out there. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to talk about my passion. I'm going to post more videos so that you can see my kids. I can show you better than I can tell you. You can see what they do. I'm going to post some more videos. But I really appreciate you, Sabrina. I really appreciate you for bringing me on. This is an amazing platform that you're doing, that you're really bridging the gap of so many different creatives, different talent in different industries. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your amazing viewers, and getting the word out about Dance Dimensions.
Absolutely. And they're my soulmates, my soul sisters and brothers. They are absolutely loving you. We literally have 346 people watching you right now, and you have gotten nothing but love throughout this whole entire interview. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Don't go down right now, guys. Go follow her right now. Sign your kids up, because this is somewhere where you want your kids to be, okay? She's not just teaching dance. She's teaching them how to be some amazing.
Yeah. You're learning physics too. You're learning physics. You're learning, gracefulness. You're learning dance. You're learning it all. Come on over.
Right, exactly. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much to everyone that's been in the chat. You know I love you guys. Thank you to everyone that's been viewing on your way out. Definitely, if you love this video, give me a thumbs up, and Miss Dakiya a thumbs up. And until the next link, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
See you guys.